Hello everybody, PsyStarcraft here with another Heart of the Swarm non-live commentary. Yeah, I can't believe it either. I'm actually doing a replay commentary. I'm going to be in the top right as the purple Zerg. My opponent's going to be in the bottom left as the blue Terran. His name is Jollyman, and I believe he's a master player. I don't actually know. This was played in a custom map, 1v1 Obs Heart of the Swarm. It's basically 1v1 peep mode, if you know what that is. You just get a group of 12 people or so, however many people you want to start with. You all enter the arena and it picks two random players to be matched up against each other, and I just happen to get Mr. Jollyman here. Do I have any sound? Can't actually hear. Oh yeah, I do. Okay, that's good. It's always good to have sound. But anyway, I'm matched against Mr. Jollyman, and the map is, I don't even freaking know. I have no idea. Gonna be flying my Overlord to his natural, and this is actually like really important. I mean, a lot of Terran players, if they do go Rex after depot instead of getting a command center first, they might be able to intercept his Overlord, but I'm more concerned with getting the Overlord down here just in case they do fast expand, because that tells you a lot of good stuff. And do all Terran racks before command center? I don't even know. Maybe I'm just like talking out my ass. But there's the barracks. Maybe the Marine won't get out in time. Where's he got that rally to? He's got it rallied all the way up to my base. But I'm gonna be 15 hatching. And like I said, this is played in a custom map, so I'm actually purple and he is blue, not standard colors. Normally it would be ooh, look at that, I can make them both red. Normally it would be red and blue. I know I've talked about this before. But he is going for a gas following this barracks play. And gas this soon obviously means Reapers. This is more difficult to scout. You can't really scout the Reapers unless you have the Overlord on top of the barracks. But you don't really want the Overlord on the barracks, because if it isn't a Reaper and it's a Marine, they're going to end up killing your Overlord. So I prefer to just have the Overlord here. You can basically expect your opponent to send Reapers at you as a Zerg player. And right now I'm being a bit greedy. Normally I'd want to get a pull at 16 out of 18. I'm actually going for 17 out of 18. And against Terran, you usually want to get your gas a little bit sooner, so if they do invest heavily into Reapers, you can get your speed up sooner for your speedlings, and you can deal with those appropriately. But I just kind of do whatever I want. The Psy style of play is really just winging it whenever I can. We see that first Reaper is now on the way, and my pool is not even halfway done, so it's kind of a standard thing for Reapers to get into your base before you have Queens, before you have Lings. It just requires a little bit of drone micro, maybe make an extractor with a drone that's about to die, try to surround the Reaper, maybe trap it, something like that. But if you control well, you don't lose any drones. A lot of the times you might lose one or two, depending on how in the zone you are. As far as micro goes, we are seeing a second Reaper as well, and he's going to be starting his command center here shortly, and this is exactly what the Overlord's for. If he chooses to push the Overlord away with Marines, I can fly away to safety, and if he chooses to get a command center, I can see it very clearly, so always good positioning for the Overlord here. And one thing Terran players will try to do with the Reaper is cut off the drone rally to the natural, so you got to be careful about that. And actually right here, I do slip up a little bit. I end up sending my guy back to the patch when I should be making an extractor, trying to get a quick surround. And is this one going to be an extractor? Yes, it is. So able to save that one drone with the extractor. Now make sure to cancel the extractor. You don't want to waste a full drone and minerals. Oh, we actually killed another drone. This was actually my first game of the day. I just remembered that. Almost able to surround the Reaper, but the reason I have 6 slings instead of just the standard 4 or 2 is because when I saw this command center, I was like, maybe I can circumvent the Reaper, fly into the command center with my Lings, and do some harassment. And as we can see here, his Reapers are out of vision of my Lings. They're just kind of chilling on this ramp here. So I'm going to be able to get by with my Lings. Speed is on the way, but that's not going to come before my Lings get there. And maybe I can cancel the command center, kill the SCV, get there before the command center finishes. Maybe get up here if he keeps the depot down. I like getting early Lings when I see this command center on the way. It's even more effective if they go command center first. You can usually get the Lings in there before the bunker completes. And the command center looks like it will complete. I'm going to send a couple Lings on the SCV, the rest up the ramp, and the SCV, or the supply depot, is actually down. Believe it or not, the supply depot's down. The Reapers are nowhere to be found. They're now on their way back. This depot looks like it's going to go down, and because it's down, I have tons of surface area on the depot, so I'm going to go ahead and focus that down. And I see the reactor, and I'm like, I must take this out. That's going to slow down his Hellions so much. Not only is it 50 gas and 50 minerals, but it's actually a lot of time. 50 seconds game time, and the reactor is going down, so spending 8 Lings, 10 Lings on a couple SCVs, a supply depot, and a reactor is huge. It's not just a resource advantage, it's a time advantage. He now has to create the reactor once more, so I know Hellions are going to be slow, and while you usually shouldn't defend Hellions with roaches, I'm kind of stuck in that way. I'm not sure what the metagame is. I say that a lot, but I know a lot of Zerg players actually you know, just go Ling with Spine, maybe a couple Queens, something like that. But the Roach Warren isn't going to be coming just yet because, like I said, I know the reactor is delayed, so he's having a very slow harassment time here coming up. I do have my Macro Queen on the way. I meant to produce that a little bit earlier, but it didn't end up happening. Almost taking out this Reaper, 12 life, so that would have been 2 more shots from the Queen. Probably wasn't going to happen. And again, metagame, I think Zergs normally take a third base much faster. I'm kind of one to saturate completely before I take my additional base. There's the Macro Queen, you know, get double gas, triple gas, running on all my gases before I take this extra hatchery. Now, it's kind of not the greatest play in the world because this hatchery is very important to get up because you're going to have a lot of larvae you're going to want to use on drones, and you're not going to have anywhere to put those drones if this expansion is very late. But we can see this drone now going to that third base. Full saturation though, so that's always good to see. We are seeing a scan from the opponent. Roach Warren is on the way, and he's got 2 Hellions so far. This would probably be, you know, 6 to 8 Hellions if that reactor had survived. Now he's going to be switching it, going for standard Marine Medevac, probably into Widow Mines, building that starport right there. Kind of unusual that he doesn't just build a starport right here, train a couple more units out of the factory, and then swap them. But I'm not a Terran player, so I have no idea if that's even something people do. Getting my double evolution chamber. It's very important to keep up with infantry upgrades when you're playing against a Terran player. They're going to be going double engineering bay, and you're going to want to get melee and carapace upgrades if you're playing just like the standard ZvT. And notice he's checking this third as opposed to this third. This third is actually very easy to assault with Terran. You can set up tanks around here. You can swoop along the back, hop up with Reapers. It's very difficult to defend, but it doesn't have the rocks. That's the key thing that made me decide to take that base instead of this base. Just because it's kind of hard to break rocks as a Zerg player early on in the game. You need like a Spine or just some early Lings committed to it for the entire time. And some missed rally drones getting toasted. Should be seeing these 5 drones. Oh, first game of the day. This is what happens when you play right after waking up. Roach is coming in a little bit too late. Reaper's going to go down, but the Hellions survive, and that's really what matters at this point. Reapers kind of lose their effectiveness at this point in the game. So he actually toasts 8 drones just like that, just from a silly rally to my third base, and this is a slow third base, by the way. He's got a decent infantry force. He does have stim packs, so he started that research early. Combat shields on the way. He might wait for combat shields to push out. We can see he's going to be going for a skirmish probably on the third base, and I don't have a lot of units. I don't have the watchtower. I don't have any forwardlings. I don't have any overlord sight. I'm completely oblivious to this attack coming, and I don't think I have anything to defend it. My Spire's on the way. My lair is at my natural. I'm getting all kinds of upgrades, but unfortunately, upgrades don't kill things. They only help units that you have. Unfortunately, I only have 2 roaches. This base is almost inevitably going to go down. He's going to try to rescue these drones over on the right side. He could have cut them off on the left side. Down goes this hatchery. Not looking great. We should see the engineering bays. There's the engineering bay from the Terran player. So down goes the hatchery, frantically making Lings to hopefully try to prevent him from moving into my natural. He's going to throw it on scan, not see a whole lot, just trying to clear out some creep tumors before he runs away. And these Lings just aren't quite enough to do any damage, so I choose not to go in, make him some banglings just in case he does try to come back in. And good news is my Spire is going to be up soon, if it's not up already. There it is, kind of covering it up with my overlords. I thought that was kind of tricky. And my Baneling speed is on the way. Roach speed is complete. Almost 1-1 upgrades, which is actually ahead of him in the upgrade department. So that's actually really good. Lings versus Marines. A lot of it depends on upgrades because they have such low damage and fast attack speed. So that's one thing I do have going for me. Unfortunately, the economy is even, and you never want to be even on the economy as a Zerg, especially when your Terran has mules. So I really need to secure this third base. I do have some Banelings and Baneling speed now, so I do have that going for me. And does he have any Widow Mines? I don't see any Widow Mines, so he's going to have a hard time dealing with this Ling Baneling. I don't know how Terran Bio dealt with Banelings before Widow Mines. I guess just tanks, but tanks seem so trivial compared to Widow Mines. Widow Mines are just so good. Tanks, you see the threat, spread your Banelings, spread your Lings, you know where to go. Whereas Widow Mines are cheaper, they're hidden, they can sometimes do more splash damage. I think they have a lot higher splash damage actually, and they're just nasty to deal with. So I'm going to be flying my mutas around. I don't think he's actually scanned any of my bases. No, he hasn't, so he doesn't really know what tech I'm going for. And it's surprising, if you don't know what tech your opponent's going for, you usually assume it's just going to be Ling, Muta, Baneling. but he doesn't have any turrets, so I'm going to be able to pick off a couple SCVs. Probably not focus firing the SCVs as well as I could have. You can see a couple weak SCVs being healed by the medevac right there and flying into the main. Now he has one turret in the main, losing one muta, kind of being a bit careless with the mutas. These Marines are just going all over the place, man. He's controlling them very well, picking off whatever mutas he can. Harvester count, trying to equalize that a little bit. He attacks his own depot a couple times. 71 to 50. How much resources, how many units has he lost? Do I have workers lost tab on here? No, this is on the Obs map, so it doesn't actually have the workers lost tab, it looks like. But if we look at the units lost overall, he's still beating me by a good amount. His upgrades 1-0. There's the second engineering base, so he's going to be 2-1, whereas my 2-2 is on the way. So again, upgrades I do have going for me. I've got +1 muta upgrade. Second attack on the way, third base up and running. So I've now got 81 to 51 harvesters, and now it kind of seems like, again, I'm not a Terran player, but kind of seems like he's the one that's kind of getting a slow third base. Able to pick off a couple more workers. It's now down to 50 to 81. My fourth base is on the way. I've got plenty of upgrades coming, as well as a macro hatch complete, and I need to start thinking about getting that hive tech, because I do have 4 bases now, and you know, you can only last so long on T2 as a Zerg player against a Terran. Now he's starting to produce those Widow Mines. How much damage does this actually do? 125 plus 35 to shields, plus 40 splash. That's such a weird number. Of course, that 40 splash, oh, losing lots of mutas to these Widow Mines. 1 kill from each of them, and then the weakened ones getting picked off a little bit from the Terran player. Now down 1,300 in resources, so that's kind of the whole theme of a Zerg versus Protoss or Zerg versus Terran matchup, is losing a lot more resources than your opponent, but being able to mine a lot more just because of the nature of Zerg and how they can drone up so quickly and stuff like that. So still 78 to 53, and again, I feel like this third base is just so slow. There's that infestation pit. +2/+2 has complete. Possibly could have gotten the infestation pit a little bit sooner, and notice I'm trying not to oversaturate. I've got 17, 18, and 18. I'm probably going to want to transfer a couple from each of those bases to my fourth base, and my minerals are going to be in excess, as they usually are with Zerg, so I'm choosing to fortify this base a little bit against drops. It's not going to defend against any full-on attacks at all, but having some drop protection is always good. And at this point, I see him. I've got decent creep spread. I see him posing to attack. He's got some good Widow Mine spread. A little bit far back, but this is the great thing about creep. It really discourages your opponent from moving up. He doesn't want to run into a bunch of banelings or lings or whatever I might have without clearing out that creep first. And so we're seeing the scans, and he's doing just that. He's clearing out that creep. This queen's just kind of being lazy. I want to be over on the side where I'm not going to get attacked. And I've got a lot of mutas. I want to max out before I try to push into him. He's almost maxed out as well, which is kind of surprising. Like a T2 maxed out Zerg usually doesn't stand a chance against a Terran in this kind of position, but it doesn't look like he has a lot of units. Most of them being rallied. I have more harvesters as well, so he's actually got 30 more army supply than I do. But a lot of his is still being created and still being rallied, so while we are both maxed out, I think my army is present while a lot of his is still on the way. So basically, I'm just waiting for my units, trying to get my hive tech. Hive is on the way, and I just need to choose a good opportunity to move in. I don't want to move straight into these Widow Mines. You can see he has these Widow Mines selected. He has this one selected, I believe, so he can focus down any Baneling clumps. He's going to be focusing down those Banelings because they're really the only threat that I have against the Marines. And burrowing a couple more Widow Mines in the front. Actually, maybe I'll be able to snipe those. Oh, that's what creep is for, sniping them Widow Mines. We've got the Overseers, obviously, to help out with the detection on those Widow Mines. Can't detect them without Overseers. And the Overlord speed is actually really important in this matchup, so I recommend getting that probably as you're getting Lair Tech, sometime around there. Hive Tech is complete, just kind of posturing back and forth. Ultra's on the way, +1 attack, +1 armor, and I'm now choosing to move in. No, I'm going to be backing up, killing a good clump of his army. He's now down to 188. He needs to reproduce those as soon as he can. 11 Marines on the way, and he still has 9 supply open, so he's missing about 20 to 30 army supply here, and we're just kind of testing each other. I'm surprised he's not going for the fourth. He's really intent on taking down that third base, and now I see a chance. He's overextended, sending it on my Banelings, trying to split the Banelings as well as I can, and not going to commit too much because he had so much army in the back. I really want him to try to make the move himself, and so his Widow Mines will be out of position. And once again, oh, overextending a lot. He's not spreading his units. Muta's doing tons of damage to everything, and he actually loads up on accident. Not that it would have mattered, But these medevacs going the wrong direction, able to clear out that attack pretty easily. We had the same amount of upgrades, but it seemed like he overextended. A lot of the Widowmine clusters might have hit his units as well because my Lings surrounded. And I actually came out ahead with a lot of excess Banelings right there. So I don't really know how that went so favorably my way. Especially, you know, with Widowmines and just T2, normal upgrades. But it did maybe just kind of a fortunate sequence of Widowmine blasts targeting the right Lings, not hitting my clump of Banelings. My Mutas kind of got to do whatever they wanted. Very unusual, but at this point in the game I'm feeling really confident. Obviously I'm 4 base. I'm checking his bases. I just checked for a third of his. He doesn't have one. I've got 9 Ultralisks on the way, +3 on the way. He's got +3 of course, but ours are going to finish nearly at the same time. Mine's just a little bit behind him, and the Ultras are now coming out. Now, one thing I like to supplement my Ultras with, especially against Terran, because they now go Bio and Widowmines, is Infestors. One fungal on a clump of, you know, Bio, and all that Bio is dead. Just Ultras have so much life. And Blizzard's actually thinking about changing Ultras' health to 550. I think that might be a bit too much. They're already pretty good. I haven't used them enough to really know. But, you know, ever since they got that upgrade to have normal attack to all units, man, 41 damage. They're a pretty good unit, so we'll see if the 550 change actually comes. I have a feeling it won't. They might have already addressed that. Drilling Claws just now coming down for the Terran, and just kind of clustering my units. I'm not doing a lot of multitasking. I'm not doing a lot of harassment, and that's really something I could work on in my game. Just kind of moving in, attack moving. I don't want him to, you know, compose, get an ideal army, and move into me, so I'm just going to go attacking in with my Ultras. They've almost got 6 armor, not quite. They do have 5 armor against 9 attacks, so those Marines are only doing 4 damage to these Ultras, and they're just cleaving through everything. He can stim and kite all he wants, but that is a lot of micromanagement for just a little bit of damage. And keep in mind these Overseers dropping Changelings and giving sight the entire time, and it looks like I'm going to be able to take down his third. Yes, these Overseers and Mutas, okay, he does end up GGing. So again, this was an Obs map, so it was kind of a clumsy GG. But you saw the Ultras in the end take him down, and, you know, when I had my T3 to follow up after this, you know, beneficial engagement here for me, it was pretty much over at that point. My 3-3 upgrades were coming, and I think I played pretty well. Besides that first attack, I really needed some kind of vision on the watchtowers, some forward Lings, anything to let me know it was coming. It caught me completely off guard and set me back a little bit, but other than that, besides taking maybe a faster third, learning to play without roaches against the Hellions, something like that. But hope you guys enjoyed that. A replay cast for once. I just felt like doing it instead of a live one, so that's going to be it. Thanks for watching.